This stop is St. George Ferry Ramp C. Next stop, Bay Street and Nickelport Place. This stop is Bay Street and Nickelport Place. Next stop, Bay Street and Central Avenue. This stop is Bay Street and Central Avenue. Next stop, Victory Boulevard and Bay Street. This stop is Victory Boulevard and Bay Street. Next stop, St. Paul's Avenue and Van Duzer Street. This stop is St. Paul's Avenue and Van Duzer Street. Next stop, St. Paul's Avenue and Swan Street. This stop is St. Paul's Avenue and Swan Street. Next stop, St. Paul's Avenue and Paxton Street. This stop is St. Paul's Avenue and Paxton Street. Next stop, St. Paul's Avenue and Cibra Avenue. Transfer available to S52. This stop is St. Paul's Avenue and Cibra Avenue. Next stop, Beach Street and Van Duzer Street. This stop is Beach Street and Van Duzer Street. Next stop, Beach Street and Union Place. This stop is Beach Street and Union Place. Next stop, Canal Street and Wright Street. Transfer available to S74. This stop is Canal Street and Wright Street. Next stop, Tompkins Avenue and Broad Street. This stop is Tompkins Avenue and Broad Street. Next stop, Tompkins Avenue and Hill Street. This stop is Tompkins Avenue and Hill Street. Next stop, Tompkins Avenue and Vanderbilt Avenue. Transfers available to S76 and S86 Limited. This stop is Tompkins Avenue and Vanderbilt Avenue. Next stop, Tompkins Avenue and Townsend Avenue. This stop is Tompkins Avenue and Townsend Avenue. Next stop, Tompkins Avenue and Chestnut Avenue. This stop is Tompkins Avenue and Chestnut Avenue. Next stop, Tompkins Avenue and St. Mary's Avenue. This stop is Tompkins Avenue and St. Mary's Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Vaughan Street. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Vaughan Street. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Reynolds Street. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Reynolds Street. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Donley Avenue. Transfers available to S79 SBS and S93 Limited. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Donley Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Narrows Road South. Transfers available to S79 SBS, S93 Limited and Sim1C. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Narrows Road South. Next stop, Olga Place and Pouch Terrace. This stop is Olga Place and Pouch Terrace. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Piedmont Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Piedmont Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Fingerboard Road. Transfer available to S52. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Fingerboard Road. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and West Fingerboard Road. Transfer available to S52. This stop is Highland Boulevard and West Fingerboard Road. Next stop, Sand Lane and Highland Boulevard. Transfers available to S52 and S53. This stop is Sand Lane and Highland Boulevard. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and West Fingerboard Road. This stop is Highland Boulevard and West Fingerboard Road. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Steuben Street. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Steuben Street. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Allendale Road. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Allendale Road. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Clove Road. Transfers available to S79 SBS and Sim1C. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Clove Road. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Parkinson Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Parkinson Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Old Town Road. Transfer available to Staten Island Railway. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Old Town Road. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Reed Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Reed Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Cooper Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Cooper Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Berger Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Berger Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Delaware Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Delaware Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Cromwell Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Cromwell Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Seaview Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Seaview Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Buell Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Buell Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Naughton Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Naughton Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Seaver Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Seaver Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Jefferson Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Jefferson Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Adams Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Adams Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Hamden Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Hamden Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Midland Avenue. Transfers available to S51 and S81 Limited. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Midland Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Lincoln Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Lincoln Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Bancroft Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Bancroft Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Otis Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Otis Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Burbank Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Burbank Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and New Dorp Lane. Transfers available to S76 and S86 Limited. This stop is Highland Boulevard and New Dorp Lane. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Rose Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Rose Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Sterling Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Sterling Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Lindbergh Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Lindbergh Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Cannon Boulevard. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Cannon Boulevard. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Tizens Lane. Transfers available to S57. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Tizens Lane. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Oak Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Oak Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Guyan Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Guyan Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Champlain Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Champlain Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Montreal Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Montreal Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Curry Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Curry Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Buffalo Street. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Buffalo Street. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Spratt Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Spratt Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Bay Terrace. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Bay Terrace. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Redgrave Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Redgrave Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Keegan's Lane. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Keegan's Lane. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Fieldway Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Fieldway Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Great Kills Road. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Great Kills Road. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Hillside Terrace. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Hillside Terrace. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Nelson Avenue. Transfer available to S54. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Nelson Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Osborne Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Osborne Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Armstrong Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Armstrong Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Pacific Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Pacific Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Winchester Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Winchester Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Richmond Avenue. Transfers available to S59 and S89 Limited. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Richmond Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Hales Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Hales Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Woods of Arden Road. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Woods of Arden Road. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Arden Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Arden Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Holdridge Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Holdridge Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Barclay Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Barclay Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Lipsett Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Lipsett Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Lipsett Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Poyon Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Poyon Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Wendy Drive. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Wendy Drive. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Arbutus Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Arbutus Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Huguenot Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Huguenot Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Luton Avenue. Transfers available to S55 and S56. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Luton Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Cornelia Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Cornelia Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Seguin Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Seguin Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Inez Street. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Inez Street. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Bayview Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Bayview Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Woodvale Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Woodvale Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Sherrod Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Sherrod Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Kenny Road. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Kenny Road. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Cunningham Road. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Cunningham Road. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Richard Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Richard Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Page Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Page Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Bedell Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Bedell Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Jolene Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Jolene Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Sprague Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Sprague Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Yetman Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Yetman Avenue. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Brighton Street. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Brighton Street. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Chelsea Street. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Chelsea Street. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Carteret Street. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Carteret Street. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Connecticut Street. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Connecticut Street. Next stop, Highland Boulevard and Craig Avenue. This stop is Highland Boulevard and Craig Avenue. Next stop, Craig Avenue and Amboy Road. This stop is Craig Avenue and Amboy Road. Next stop, Amboy Road and Carteret Street. This stop is Amboy Road and Carteret Street. Next stop, Amboy Road and Main Street. This stop is Amboy Road and Main Street. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and Yetman Avenue. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and Yetman Avenue. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and Wood Avenue. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and Wood Avenue. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and Arthur Kill Station. Transfer available to Staten Island Railway. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and Arthur Kill Station. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and Nassau Place. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and Nassau Place. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and Richmond Valley Road. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and Richmond Valley Road. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and Major League Plaza. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and Major League Plaza. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and South Bridge Street. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and South Bridge Street. Next stop, Bricktown Mall Shopping Center. Transfer available to S74. This is the last stop. This stop is Bricktown Mall Shopping Center. This is S78 to Bricktown Mall. A fare is required to ride.